it's Anna Marie Cox. I'm here in Des Moines, Iowa on the day of the Iowa caucuses. Right now, at this very moment, looking out over beautiful downtown Des Moines. It's a gorgeous day. Sunny, clear, crisp, and pretty cold. And no one knows what's going to happen. So we've asked our correspondents, rather than try and forecast, to look a little bit backwards and talk about the campaigns they've been covering so far.
The best quote from a local at a Mike Huckabee event usually comes about two-thirds of the way through the event. Right when he's hitting his peak, he's talking about how it's about time for us to elect a president who can get outspent 20-1, who grew up in a rent house in Arkansas. Some old lady in the front of the audience will usually start raising her hands, and someone will shout out, "Amen."
My best quote from a local would be Hillary Clinton in Guthrie Center. Two women had a very long and detailed discussion about how much plastic surgery they thought she'd had. They thought definitely the eyes, maybe the chin, perhaps a little Botox in the forehead. It was a good 20-minute conversation.
Oh, the best thing I heard was at an Edwards rally the other day, and one of the locals said to me, "I thought we were supposed to be fighting the terrorists, not the corporations."
My best quote comes from a guy that I met at a Hillary rally last fall. I asked him why he was supporting Hillary, and he said he had looked at the other candidates, but he had come to the decision that he really couldn't support anyone else. And I said, "Well, what did you think about Obama?" And he looked me in the eye, he asked me to stop writing, and he said, "Well, let me tell you, I'm a little bit racist."
Edwards is perhaps the most robotic speaker I've ever seen in my entire life, which is actually an asset on the campaign trail. But for anyone who has to cover him, he just repeats the same thing over and over and over again.
My favorite part of Romney's stump speech is when he talks about his sons visiting all the counties in Iowa. And what's weird is he messes it up in the exact same way every time. I think the joke is supposed to go like this. He's in Iowa announcing his candidacy, and his wife says his sons are going to visit all counties in Iowa, and she doesn't realize there are 99 of them. Ha 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 ha. And here's how he messes it up. He says, "And my wife Ann said that Josh is going to visit all 99 counties in Iowa."
Hillary builds up to this ending where she talks about how the Republicans have been firing at me and attacking me for 16 years, and I'm still standing. And her audiences are kind of geriatric, and they kind of creak to their feet in standing ovations.
The defining moment of Mike Huckabee's last week was a press conference at which he displayed a negative attack ad after saying he wasn't going to show the negative attack ad. Right after that happened, he said, "If I gain the whole world but lose my soul, what is the profit?" It was a biblical allusion. When he said that, the national press laughed at him. At events, though, he can use the same line referring to the same decision not to air the ad, and the crowd eats it up.
If Romney had one argument to make about his candidacy, it's that he was a successful businessman. He uses the word management about 100,000 times a day, and he uses the words business and private enterprise almost as much.
John Edwards' signature issue this campaign is, "I will fight them to every fiber of my being, those dirty, rotten corporate crooks."
Huckabee has two messages that tend to work with Iowa voters. One is that he is the values candidate, the true social conservative who is a Baptist pastor who's always been fiercely pro-life, fiercely anti-gay marriage. The second is that he's the person who knows who he is. And if you talk to people after events, most often they'll say something along the lines of, "I just trust the guy," or he just knows who he is. And that's why he's been doing pretty well here in Iowa.
You don't get change by demanding it or hoping for it. You get it by working for it. You know, that's been the essence of her campaign, that she's just going to work harder, be more precise.
The mood on the Romney campaign bus is one of cheerful resignation, I would say. We're very well taken care of. The staff is super, super nice. But you don't see the candidate very much, and he really doesn't make any news. I mean, that's the whole point. He doesn't want to make any news.
The mood on the Hillary campaign bus is that everybody is entirely pissed off because they have absolutely no access to the candidate, and she doesn't even fly in the same plane as they do.
The mood of the campaign bus in the Edwards campaign is a mood of revolt because they keep feeding us too much junk food. It's all grease, and everyone wants salads, healthiness. There actually was a hunger strike on the bus last week. I wasn't there for it, but this week, in recognition of that, when they actually bought us Wendy's, they bought us Wendy's salads.
Mike Huckabee probably has the only campaign bus where even the embeds, the people from the networks who are on the bus every day, do not always get the emails from the press secretary about where the events are going to be. So you're constantly scrapping to figure out what's happening now, what's happening tomorrow, what's happening in a couple hours. And it's really just everyone's flying by the seat of their pants, which makes it more fun and a little more chaotic.
If I could cover any campaign besides Edwards, I don't know, the Kucinich people seem like a lot of fun these days in New Hampshire.
The Obama people actually seem like they're having a good time. Like, the staffers are having fun, which is my sort of biggest suspicion about why they might not win. No one can have that much fun and win.
I would say John McCain, because like Mike Huckabee, he spends way too much time talking to the press, which makes my job much easier.
Well, I think the Huckabee campaign is the hot campaign for journalists in this cycle, because something utterly crazy happens every last day. I've taken an informal poll of my colleagues, and all of them want to be hanging around Huckabee.